We're going to start with rapid fire questions.
And they have to be rapid fire.
And they have to be quick, and you can't linger for too long.
Nope.
And don't even think about what you're saying. Just
No.
say it.
Like Vogue 72 questions.
Mhm.
Just speak.
All right, here we go.
Let's go.
What's your favorite hobby?
Yoga.
Favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite hairstyle?
Curly.
Favorite
With
actor?
bangs. This is so stressful. Favorite actor? I don't know. Julianne Moore, Kate Winslet, Nicole Kidman. Lots of them.
Favorite director?
Oh, God. I don't have a favorite director. Oh, I do like Jane Campion a lot.
Favorite movie?
Oh, God. Probably Clueless. Or Mad Max Fury Road. They're like right there
I love
together.
that. They're so different.
They're so different.
Favorite place in the world?
Probably LA. I love it here.
Favorite age?
Age?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I have no idea. Oh, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm thinking about it.
If you had to pick an age, what age would you pick?
26.
Ooh.
That's enough,
Last
isn't it? God,
Three,
you
because
have
I don't think
three.
I think I only have three in me. Favorite weather?
Sunny and 70 degrees with no humidity,
Oh, I love that.
which used to be what LA was all the time.
Yeah, and it has changed. Can we just take a
It has
pause and say that LA has now become more humid
Yep. I
than
hate
when
it.
we both moved here
I hate it so much.
eons ago?
Yep.
Okay, great.
We're still going. We're still rapid.
Favorite city in the United States?
Ooh. Oh, God. I have to actually really think about it. I don't know. I
You
mean, I
gotta
love
pick
Los
one.
Angeles. I love Atlanta, where I grew up.
Pick one.
Denver's amazing when I lived in Colorado.
This is
Chicago was where I had an incredible.
This is not rapid fire. Pick one.
I'm failing this one so bad. Favorite city? You know what? I freaking love Providence, Rhode Island. I went to New England for the first time. Providence, Rhode Island. That's my answer.
Okay. Last one. Least favorite activity.
Google spreadsheets.
I love that.
My turn. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite type of clothing?
Skirts.
What is the best place you've ever traveled to?
Denmark.
Denmark. I thought you'd say I
Copenhagen.
thought you'd say Japan. Oh, you loved Copenhagen.
I love
Okay, I'm already
Copenhagen.
failing. What is your favorite hobby?
Running.
What's your favorite animal?
Whales.
Whales.
I love whales
That's
so
great.
much.
Okay. What's a vice you would like to give up?
Ooh, sugar.
Sugar.
Yes. I want to talk to you about the sugar doctor, but
Okay.
not in this rapid
This is
fire
not rapid fire.
section.
What's your favorite type of earring? You are interesting earrings.
It depends on the day. I don't know if I can give you one. Blue. Any blue big earrings.
Okay. What's your favorite magazine to read?
I don't really read magazines, but I do read the New York Times and Wall Street Journal every day.
Love this. It was a random question. Wasn't sure. What's your favorite job you've ever had?
TV writer.
What's your least favorite job you've ever had?
Ooh, I once had to sell alarms in the blistering Texas heat, going door to door.
That sounds terrible.
It was terrible, but I learned a lot about what it takes to get in a house.
Great. That's all you get to say. What? What's your favorite weather?
Rainy.
Ooh. What's your favorite eye color?
Blue.
What's your favorite architecture?
Oh, God, that one's really tough. Mid-century modern.
Ooh, that's my least favorite. We are going to get into our own personal creative processes with you guys today. We want to do a deep dive since it's just me and Angela. We don't have a guest with us today. We're going to get into some things about how currently we are creatives in the world, things that we've been working on, things that have been working for us, things that have not been, things we've been struggling with. So let's get into it. What do we want to talk about? What do we want to?
We could start with today.
Let's start with today.
How it took an hour and a half to set up this morning. And part of the reason why that was is because we were trying to find the best angles, the best camera positions yet again. And I think this speaks to a bigger conversation I've been wanting to have with you, just about the difference between reality and what's on camera, right? So, for example, one of the things that is a huge difference is how in reality you might have normal sized women like you and I, and how the camera seems to add 20 pounds. And we can't help that.
But we keep trying to find the right angles to help it. Like we've looked at some of our footage and it's like the camera's like too low and our faces just look blown out. And and today, well, we're working with different cameras than we usually work with, right? We have different equipment today. So that took us a little longer. But yeah, even taking notes on what we did the time before, it's like every time we come into the studio, every time we try to set it up, there's like something else that we're trying to figure out.
Another thing that is different between reality and what's shown on camera, it's you have to exaggerate more or emphasize more. I have a problem with slurring my words or just kind of talking very quickly and kind of mumbling sometimes. So I have to be very conscious of the fact that I have to say things in a particular cadence and emphasize certain words. I've picked up so many tips from you because I didn't know any of this.
Well, this is something that's fun to talk about too, is that where was I going with this? Oh, that we both have different strengths to bring to this podcast. And we're going to dive into our creative process a little bit. Something we've been talking about lately is like what our different strengths are and how different they are, but how much they can complement each other when we bridge the gap, when we bring it all together. Like you've brought so many technical skills to this that I did not have, that I've now learned. And I think I have helped hopefully impart some like acting skills and like awareness and how to, being on camera, what that energy is like and what that looks like. It's been fun.
Yeah, I have also noticed that, you're already a high energy person, which is a great thing, which I love about you.
John. I haven't even heard the word spaz in so long, but that used to be described to me, so thank you. Not a spaz. Thank you, John.
I mean, that is a compliment.
I know you do. I was just being
and
I just wanted to see what John had to say.
You bring out my energy because
good.
I'm so muted. But I have learned from you that I need to, in giving a big reaction to something, it's actually much more engaging. It just doesn't necessarily come naturally to me. And I don't think it comes naturally to a lot of people. A lot of us just default to, this is who I am, and it's very monotone. But that's not very interesting. So you have to really kind of,
it's okay,
quote unquote,
it can be,
ham it up for the camera.
Well, and not necessarily. I don't want to give the impression that it's like an act, or a persona, because that's not true either. That's genuinely, my reactions are pretty genuine.
No, it's like
I love
like
to laugh.
I
love, but it's a little heightened.
Yes,
yeah, it's just a little more.
So to that end, I feel like you bring out the best version of myself.
That's a wonderful compliment.
Because
I know, before we even go.
No, but you do.
Cry.
Because you bring out the fun part of myself.
I love that.
And the part of me that doesn't take herself too seriously.
Oh, that's great.
And we've talked about this. I can be a perfectionist, and we can dive a little bit into how that has, taken place in the making of this podcast. But your lightness and your levity, like it basically mellows me out.
I love that.
In the best of ways.
I love hearing that. We laugh our asses off when we're editing together. Like we do have a really good time. When we get in and we're editing an episode, it's just like, it's usually me making fun of myself for touching my hair like I just did. No, it's okay. I don't know, but it's usually me making fun of myself or all my fidgeting. That's the other thing. I'm so restless. It's like we watch these back to edit and I'm just like, what am I doing? Sit still. Even right now, I just knock my paper off.
And I have noticed that I don't move around as much, but it's probably like a way for me to be like, okay, just try to keep it calm and composed.
I love it. Well, and you help me you just help me see things from such a different point of view. And I my levity and my lightness is fun and I like it, but you help me, you have such an eye for detail too. That I think I have an eye for detail and I'm very organized, but you see things that I don't and you catch things that I don't. And it's really helpful and it may be part of your perfectionism, but I love having that rub off on me a little bit more, starting to pay more attention to some of these little things that sometimes I let slide.
Where are you at with your creative process right now? Let's talk about that.
Sure. As in what I'm working on, how I feel as a creative, all of these things. What I'm
Both.
struggling with,
Both. Yeah. I like to know about the struggles, not just the shiny stuff.
Yeah, of course. We always get into the struggles. That's our podcast. I mean, as a creative right now, I have a lot of feelings, especially if we're going to talk specifically about the industry. The industry is still in a wild, wild place. And the world at this moment, like how to meet the moment we're in as someone who feels like a creative person and thrives on community and trying to put stories out into the world that help bring hope and bring people together. A big part of what my own personal mission statement is like creating community and trying to make people feel seen through the stories I tell. And right now, there's not a lot of auditions. I'm not telling a lot of stories. It's kind of slowed down now. So in terms of an actor auditioning in LA, that is feeling like not something that's happening right now, which can lead into a bigger, broader, great discussion of like, so what is your identity as a creative? If I identify so strongly with being an actor, what is that identity for me when I'm not acting and when I'm not auditioning? Because when I'm auditioning, I feel like an actor. Auditioning is working for me. Booking the job is the icing on the cake, and that's a whole other thing. I think I've talked about this in other conversations of how like auditioning is one skill and acting is actually a totally different one. But auditioning feels like working because I'm putting something together. I'm telling a story. I'm creating something, putting it on tape and sending it off. So when I'm not auditioning, it's a tough process to find who I am and what I'm doing. The podcast has done a lot for me. This has really helped a lot. I feel like this is a huge outlet. I've loved this. I think we're having a great time. Learning each other as creatives and learning how to work with each other as creatives because we've never created anything together. We've known each other as friends and we know that we're both in the industry as creatives, but we've never done something together. So this has been a really fun, interesting process that has actually reminded me of the relationship I had with my old producing partner, Calliope Porter, dear friend who I used to produce with all the time. And I think we have a similar dynamic. So that is feeding my identity as a creative. Maybe one of the best bookings I've ever had in my career happened this year.
Wow.
So for that to be in the same year as, trying to feel all these other things is really interesting. And
it's discombobulating.
It's discombobulating, but it was such a win. It was such a high. I mean, it was just an incredible set. I passed Video Village at one point and the executive producer was like, fantastic work, Anna, like out the corner of Video Village. And you just don't always get that on set as an actor. You don't get that kind of like feedback a lot. You just go out there and do your thing and you hope that it's going well and you hope you're doing well. Some other things that have been working for me as a creative is I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying editing. I have learned how to edit and I edited our last episode that we just put out. Which at this point won't be in chronological order, so I won't say it. But the last episode we just released was the first one I edited on my own, which then passed off to Angela to finish and make it beautiful because I don't know how to do that yet. But I'm very excited to learn how to do that. But I found editing so ridiculously satisfying. Like it's so tedious and it took me probably 9 hours to edit this episode. And it's just a podcast. We're not doing a film. We're not doing, we're just cutting back and forth to us. And but it took 9 hours and I had so much fun. I don't know if it's because I'm a control freak. And so I had this like ultimate control of I'm telling the story. It was so tedious and so satisfying.
Yes.
And I was like, editors tell the story. And it's so great. I found that so fulfilling. And so that's something I'm doing, this podcast, helping with my creative life and still feeling like I'm putting something out and into the world. That has been a wonderful skill to feel like I am gaining. It's been wonderful.
And I would say out of all the different skills that I personally have, like whether it's like editing or directing or writing, editing is the one where you can get lost in it.
Yes.
And before you know it, it's 2 a.m. And
Yes.
you're like, what have I been doing?
Do you not get into a flow like that with writing? Because I do.
I can get into a flow, but it's more rare to get into that, oh my gosh, time has just flown by.
Okay.
Because at least with writing, for me, there's a lot of like starts and stops where like sometimes it's like, oh shoot, now I'm at a point where I got to figure out what the next scene is going to be and I don't really know. It's very rare that I can get into the flow where like the writing is just flowing out of me. But with editing, because it's so simple, it's like, oh, you're just like cutting here, cutting there, like one frame. It's, to me, it's easier to get into that state of flow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can hear that. Yeah, I've been really impressed with myself. I'm just going to say it. We got to take our wins where they are, right? And I'm really impressed,
I'm
with
impressed
myself.
with you.
Thank you that I've become so much more technical. These technical skills that I've never had are just really fun and really have opened things up for me in a new way that is exciting.
Yeah, I can say with all honesty that I am beyond impressed by your ability to pick up new skills.
Thank you.
It's also like part,
I'm a quick learner.
I
I
do
am.
think that acting does put you in a place of being humble, right? And being like very like game for anything, right?
Yeah,
It's like
that's true.
I have other actor friends, my friend Tori, who just like picked up horseback riding very quickly. She's developing like different skills. So I think there's something to be said about when you are supposed to be this like vessel for stories, right? You put yourself in the state of play, which then just makes you very like game for anything, right?
I think that's really interesting. I think there's a very strong point to that. It also made me think about like I have such a history of being an athlete. I was like a kid athlete and I pick up sports really quickly and really easily. And I wonder if that's just a natural progression into same with acting.
Yeah. Yeah. To put it into context, it's like I've spent like a decade trying to learn the things where I'm just a little bit above your skill set.
You are well above. Gosh, I keep hitting this. I'm sorry. You are well above my skill set. You have like you took that episode that I edited and you polished it into like a diamond. So your 15 years of editing are showing in your skill set. I'm still learning, and like just for example, I kept using the 3-shot of me, Angela, and our guest that we were interviewing because we were having such a conversation of the three of us that I wanted to get everyone's reaction. And I wanted to be able to see all three of us. And Angela was just like, no, that's not what we use it for. You use it to like hide and edit, or you use it to like do this. And she was like, it takes me out of it to watch a 3-shot. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I was trying to make the
learning.
point of like, you don't want to stay on the 3-shot for too long because you want to see the person's face as they're telling a long story.
No, it's great.
But it's these little things,
Keep learning.
Yeah.
So how about you? Let's hear about your creative process. Where are you right now? What are things looking like for you as a creative?
So I was so excited to share with you off camera the fact that I took this acting for non-actors class with Nick Hoffa, who is a wonderful actor. And I learned so much in this class about how to be a better director and from the perspective even of a writer. So one of the many takeaways for me was that at the start of the class, I looked around and I was like, whoa, none of us are actors. Like there was an editor in there was a showrunner in there, a lawyer, a psychologist, me,
acting for non-actors,
a teacher, and then another writer. And I vividly remember when we first started doing exercises, I was like, oh boy, we're all so bad. Myself included. I'm not saying, but by the end, oh my gosh, the transformation.
Had everyone really improved?
So the last class we had was on a stage, and having the lights on you, there was like a certain pressure, but then also because you're on a stage,
we were talking about performance.
There was a certain permission that was given for you to allow yourself to be emotionally vulnerable. And some of my colleagues in the class went there, and one of them specifically cried on stage, and she was making me cry, and I was like, holy macaroni. Like the fact that I initially thought everyone was bad at the beginning. I thought none of us are actors. And then by the end, I'm like, oh my God, all of us are actors with a capital A.
That's incredible. I love that. What an interesting class to take. I love that you took that. Just in the impetus was to be a better director, to understand actors. I have a really good friend actually who became a director, and his track was always to become a director, and he went to theater school. His BFA was in acting, and because he was like, I want to understand actors better to be a better director. So that's a great choice.
Understand the pressure, understand what it means to be given direction. And I think one of the lessons in this for me was that with the right direction, with the right teacher, and with enough reps, anyone can be an actor.
Ooh.
Not necessarily a great one.
That's a bold statement.
In my opinion, not necessarily a great one, but a passable one.
Well, your class showed you
and
that.
that's what I'm trying to get to, right? That
be able to be able to talk to actors in a way that gets what you want from them. Is that a
and I
little
think
what you're
that
thinking?
as you become more comfortable in the limelight, as you become more comfortable in front of a camera or in front of other people, paradoxically, you become more authentically yourself, or more authentically are able to embody that role.
Yeah,
that was one of the many things that Nick taught us, that, you know, you are not trying to play this wildly different character as someone that is not connected to your life at all. You can play that character as a version of yourself.
Yeah, because you're always bringing yourself.
Exactly.
That's a strong tenet of acting, is like you're never someone completely different. You're still bringing your own point of view, your own experiences, your worldview into your interpretation of this person. It's also an odd thing. I find this, I don't know if he mentioned this to you, but sometimes a lot of actors get cast based on like who they really are at their core, because the camera catches it. The camera gets everything. And like when I was coming up in theater, I used to play these very like Joan of Arc, hardcore, strong, wild women on stage. And then when I started booking on camera, I was always playing the like goofy girl who's sort of like, wait, what? I don't understand. What just happened?
You have a great what face.
I have a great what?
You have a great what face?
What face? Thank you. So like just this like fun sort of goofier person. And I remember an acting coach being like, well, that's a lot of who you are. And the camera gets that. And so when you bring that into a role, it's there. And that's how you get cast.
Because it's just naturally there. Exactly.
Sorry, you were saying?
Well, I took away so many lessons. Like another lesson that I took away was that pauses can be so powerful, and that so much acting can go in that silence, right? So I had to memorize a 3-page script.
Oh boy, 3 pages for a non-actor.
Really proud of
How'd you feel? I am really proud of you. How'd you feel going into it?
I felt so empowered because, as we've talked about, I don't have the best of memories. I'm terrible. I'm really good with faces. I am terrible with names. And one of my fears, like one of my recurring dreams, is to be up on a stage and not know the lines of the play that I'm in or whatever. So to have a moment on stage where I actually knew all my lines and I got into a state of flow and actually feeling an emotion on stage, I was like, wow, who am I?
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
But yeah,
I love that for you.
It was so interesting because I think I had never dissected a script from the perspective of I am now saying these lines. And I found these little subtle ways in which you can insert a performance, like even when it's not your line, right? So there was a moment in this comedic script where when my counterpart, basically I wasn't saying the truth. I didn't want to admit to something.
Okay.
And so it's like my line is not admitting to something. And then she goes like this. Like she just literally puts out her hands and like gestures at me. And that then leads me to admit to the thing that I was trying to hide from her. Right. So
there's such a physical part to acting.
The importance of gestures, right? Like I gesture at you and then that pressures you to say something. I mean, it's so basic, right? But I think as directors, we are not as, we're not really trained as much to look at the small, subtle little things that an actor is doing. And taking an acting class just kind of forces you to think about those things. It's like, oh, what am I doing with my posture? What am I doing with my hands? You know, that's also a lot of the things that good actors naturally bring to the table that you as a director might not even have to think about if you've cast an amazing actor. But if you haven't cast an amazing actor, if you've cast someone that is still learning, then these are the things that you have to tell them, like, hey, I need a hand gesture here, right?
Yeah. This is great. This is making me think of like just being directors being able to talk to actors and get what they want out of them. I had an incredible story. I was on a show called Good Girls Revolt as a recurring character, and it took place in 1969. And I won't get into like the story of it, just to tell this story succinctly. But the director of one of the episodes was an Emmy-winning director from The Wire. His name is Daniel. I believe you say his last name Attias, Daniel Attias. I should know how to say your name, sir. I apologize. He was incredible, and I will never forget. This was one of the first roles I'd had on camera, and you come up with different things you learn as an actor. You learn all these different things. You get told all these different things. And so very much I was like, well, my scene was with one of the stars. And so I was like, I'm just a supporting character. I'm just a small, I'm helping to just move the plot. I'm just going to say my lines in the way that I'm going to say them, but I'm not going to take anything away from her. This is her scene. She's the series regular, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of something you get told as an actor. You sort of like pick up along the way. And after a few takes, the director Video Village was like, we were in this building and he was forever away. And so he said, cut. And all of a sudden there was just this long pause and everybody's sort of like, what's going on? What's going on? He was walking. He walked all the way up and he came all the way up to me. And he looked at me and he said, I know what you're doing. I know what you think you should be in this moment for her. But I want you to throw that out. And I want you to have fun. And I want you to do what you're feeling. And say what you want to say. Say it how you want to say. Do this how you want to do it. And it came out as a completely different scene than what I thought it was going to be. It was way fun. When I watched it, I didn't take anything away from her. It gave me more. She was the comedic role in the show, and my role was also sort of comedic. And so I was trying not to be more comedic than her, and it came out so great.
It gave you freedom.
It gave me the freedom, and that's all he did. He turned around and he took his long trek all the way back to Video Village, and we did a few more. It was so freeing and liberating for me. And so to have a fantastic director like that just go, don't do that.
Yeah.
Do you. Was wonderful.
That's another lesson, like having the freedom to play. Did you feel like you had to let go of your ego in that moment to be able to step into a totally different state of mind?
I've just had so much experience with taking direction and feeling like I'm able to take it well at this point because I've been doing this for so long that everything he said just completely freed me up. I listened to him and I went, whoa, if the person who's manning this whole ship is like, don't play small, then I'm not going to play small. And I don't even know if that was letting go of an ego in some way, but maybe. I'm not really sure if I saw it like that. It was more just liberating.
When it's also like, this is why you need a director, right? Because sometimes an actor has to divorce themselves from their initial interpretation of the scene.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And so, maybe that's more of the question too.
So you had to divorce
I had an
yourself.
interpretation of how the scene should go, what it should be. And I was I guess in a way it was like, it was letting go of what I had prepared. So there was a shedding in the moment. And again, like you said, actors, we got to be quick. You got to do that stuff in the moment. You've got to be so adaptable, so malleable. For him to come up and say all that and then to be able to just do it is a muscle. And is a thing you have to learn to do and trust yourself to do.
And it's scary.
Yeah, and it is scary.
Like, that's the thing that I experienced for the first time ever. I can tell you just like two quick things that tie to that. One being, so when Nick gave me 3 pieces of direction, I couldn't do it. There's no way that and I do this to actors all the time. It's like, well, this line I want this, and this line this, and this line this. And in my mind, at least when I was first starting, like start of the class versus end of the class, 90% of my brain power was on, I just need to remember the goddamn line.
Yeah. It's
like the line.
It's a lot.
Let alone how I say it or how I feel when saying it, right?
I want to jump in again if it's okay, because I really want like people to hear this, because I feel like sometimes actors can get such a reputation for being divas, and this is why this happens. Is like, and not always. Some people are just divas. Some people are just assholes, and they're just going to be jerks when they're on set. But like some people, it's just, there is so much going on for us that people don't know. There's so much happening to try to give you the performance that everyone's looking for, that when something deviates, and it's hard to sometimes take it all in, and then maybe you don't respond the best way that you could. So it's how these kind of like diva moments can happen, I think, because we really actually do have a lot going on when we're working. And I think a lot of people look at it from the outside as like, oh, that's probably the easiest thing. I mean, maybe not. Maybe
it's incredibly hard to have that degree of focus. You have to be present to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are not used to being that present, to fully listening, to fully being in control and feeling yourself in your own body, and being conscious of the fact that I'm picking up this glass right now. But
And
at
how
the
you're
same
picking it
time,
up.
at the same time that I'm picking up this glass, I also have to say my line
Yep.
as the glass is right here, and then put it down and then say my next line.
Yep.
So I found
And it's
it so
emotionally
interesting.
draining.
Mhm.
It can be very emotionally draining.
Yeah. And I think it taught me as a director to keep my direction as simple as possible. If I try to
Mm.
pile too much on, then I myself got lost when there were too many different things that I had to do.
Yeah.
So when he gave me like 3 different pieces of direction for a given 2-page script, I was like, I can't keep all of this in my head. Like, I'm just going to go with whatever I feel in the moment. But in the last performance that we did, because we did it a few times up on stage, that last performance, he just told both of us very simple direction. It's like, you're going after her. I was going after my sister in the scene, and she was trying to hide from me. She was
Fantastic.
so embarrassed by what she had done. And he was just like, I need you to pursue her, and you need to be running away from her. And we're on stage kind of like, basically I'm pursuing, she's running away, and then she finally runs away to the couch.
And what are
That-
your tactics there? It doesn't have to just be physically pursuing each other. Are you pursuing with how you're saying something? Are you pursuing with the gesture you talked about? Are you pursuing with your body? Are you
physically? So
pursuing
it
with,
really helped.
Are you
physically.
pursuing? You can pursue by not pursuing. I'm gonna go over here. Like what you? There's so many tactics.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you can discover of what does that mean to pursue and to run away.
Right.
They're not necessarily literally what you might think.
That's true. That's true. But I did love the simplicity of that, and
Yeah.
it made the scene that much stronger.
That's really cool.
Right. So yeah, there's so many lessons I took away, but
I
I'm
love that you
so
took this
grateful that
class.
I did it.
I love that you took this class.
And the last thing we should talk about is there was one day that my scene partner was not there, and I had to act with Nick. And Nick is a consummate performer.
Were you so intimidated?
He has been on countless TV shows. And
This is why he's teaching.
I just remember feeling so inadequate because of the disconnect between how authentic and how real every line he delivered was versus me trying to find that modicum of authenticity, and just knowing that I'm not bridging that gap. Like, you and I have talked about one of my favorite videos of all time is called The Gap. And it takes Ira Glass's monologue about, how there is a huge gap in talent when you're first starting out, and how you feel inadequate and insecure about that because your taste is here, but your talent is here. And you can see that gap because you have taste. And you're just like, how do I bridge it? That's how I felt in the scene with Nick, where I was just like, I know that I am here and he's here. So
It's really funny to me hear you say that, though, because I love that you have the awareness of that and you're aware of the gap. But also, like, I don't know, is this some of your perfectionism too? Like, why would you be at his level? You just started. There's no way you're going to be at his level, right? And just being there. And you can learn so much just from being in a scene with him. Like, isn't it wonderful to be with a really talented scene partner?
Absolutely.
Like, you
yeah.
just, I acted with Billy Bob Thornton. And I can't even tell you the moment I started speaking to him, I was like, this is wild. Like, this person is one of the best scene partners I told him, I was like, you're a really great scene partner. He was like, I've been doing this a really long time. I was like, right, got it.
He's like, I know.
He basically was like, I know. He was much more charming and darling about it than I just made it sound. But like, it's that thing of, being willing, but you are willing to, what I love about everybody that took this class is you were also willing to fail. That's another big part of acting is you were taught from the beginning of like, you have to be willing to fail. And it's so hard to fail, especially publicly in front of an entire crew, in front of a camera, but you have to be willing to try things. And that's another thing that makes us so adaptable and so malleable is because you just get so used to trying something. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you just got to be okay with
tried
that.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to my question to you, which is you have to divorce your ego from it, right? Because at least for me, I was feeling very self-conscious about the fact that I'm acting with him. And you really have to just like check that at the door.
It's
like you have to just not be so insecure and so like
you
nervous
gotta
about
trust
it,
yourself.
right?
And
you
that
just have
takes
to go
time and
for
work
it.
too. It really does take time and work, and you don't always do it. But yeah, you have to. There's a big part of you have to trust yourself, because the other thing is, if you are insecure and if you are not confident in what you're doing, that comes across on camera,
Mm-hmm.
and that shows. And nobody wants to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just like get in there. I'll tell you, if you don't mind, I'll tell you another really quick story. The scene with Billy Bob Thornton. I was on Goliath, his show on Amazon. And like, again, this also speaks to like having possible diva moments. I'll just give you an example from my own life. Like I showed up on set and I was playing a water scientist, and I had all of this physical stuff to do. I had such prop work. I had to learn it. Time is money on set. This was a massive freaking set. Goliath was wild. It was amazing. And like, I got like 5 minutes to get out there and just play with my stuff. I had to do all of these different things while I'm talking to him. I'm telling him about a well, how deep this well is. And I'm reading something, and then this thing is beeping, and I have to pull up this thing and roll it up. And so I like had to teach myself how to do all of that. Also knowing you're going to act with Billy Bob Thornton while you're doing all this. Like, get it together, girl. Get out there and just do your job. And it was almost a little bit of a blur. I sort of just blacked out. And then it came out great. I love this scene. And I was like, I did it, but it was what I've talked to you about before, about your process and your like how you pump yourself up before you go out and what you do. Of just like giving myself some time to be alone, to breathe. You've got this. You can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You've earned being here. Go out there and act with Billy Bob Thornton and do all of your prop work and just do it. Just do your job. There's actually a lot of, when you're just a working actor and you're not a celebrity, there's not a lot of ego involved, because you can't have it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just go out and do your job, which is serve the story, which is a little bit what I said before. But the diva moment I'm going to talk about is I was trying to do all this. I was trying to prep myself, do all my things, and there were sheep in this scene. Watch the show and you'll see why. All these sheep in the background of me, and this shepherd had brought his sheep. And he was so excited to be on set, you guys. Like, he was having the time of his life, because this is a wild, huge shoot. And like, I'm so excited for him, right? But he's trying to talk to me about it. And he's trying to be like, oh, wow, this and this and this. Look, my sheep are out there. And I was like, I have nothing for you, man. I have nothing for you. I have to go do prop work with Billy Bob Thornton. You can't talk to me. You know, like, that's not at all what I said. But that was my inner monologue. And so I was very kind. But I was like, I removed myself from him very quickly, because I was like, I cannot
be distracted.
I cannot be distracted. So that was my
That's
potential
really
diva
funny.
moment if my inner monologue had come out. But I love that you did this. I feel like I have so many stories. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, this is great. Well, I love talking to you about your world, because it's so different. You know, it's like I've come at it. I've learned so much about acting just being your friend.
Oh.
And that's
love
something that I really love to do. It's like, my journalist side is like, I'd rather talk about you than talk about me.
Well, we still got to talk about you. What else are you doing creatively right now, or what's not working?
Another thing I wanted to talk about is I took a class with a master director, Rob Spera, and he basically has gotten me to get back into directing again. I briefly touched upon the fact that I directed you for a little class exercise for him, and it was so fun.
Did you show it to him?
Yes. And he gave me one note.
Was it about me? I'm kidding.
Well, I think so. Basically, no. It wasn't about you. It was not about you. It was about the fact that he didn't really want dialogue to be as prominent in the exercise. So then I did another exercise in which like the dialogue was more like throwaway as opposed to like so integral to the story. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is that this year I am about to now direct a third project, a little micro short film, 5 minutes long in a couple of weeks.
Great.
And I had not directed in years prior to this year. And part of the reason why that was, it was because I, in my head, had built it up as I need $5,000 to direct a short film. And if I don't have a minimum of $5,000 to spare, then I can't direct. Like, I need money to direct. And his whole point has been, you can do it for little to no money. This podcast is actually a testament to that as well. When we first started, we were paying an editor. And then we learned how to edit ourselves. And there's all these frustrations associated with that. But it's also very liberating, right? It's been very empowering for us to say, we can do this ourselves, even if it's a flawed way of doing it. So I'm taking that same approach when it comes to directing, where I'm actually being less precious about it, right?
It's huge.
So this next short film that I'm directing, I basically, a bunch of us in the group, this is part of the Ride Back Rice Fellowship through Dan Lin, who leads the creative team at Netflix. He has this incubator program called Ride Back Rice
That you are a part of.
that I'm a part of. And so as part of that, that's how I took this directing class. And as part of that, one of my friends in that class said, you know what, why don't we just start a collective where all of us writer directors are going to get to play and try to do this for no money and just throw it away. So 2 of us directors are going to direct a short film in the span of 12 hours, and we each get only 6 hours. And it's actually been really funny, like negotiating with her, going back and forth and basically, you know, telling ourselves like, okay, well, we're going to sacrifice this and we're going to sacrifice that. And, you know, this is how we're going to keep it nimble. Because the impetus for a lot of us is to try to perfect it, right? Talking about my perfectionist tendencies, right? It's like, it's been so positive and healthy for me to not be a perfectionist.
I love that. Have you heard the phrase like, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then also just like a friend of mine, I don't know where she picked this up. I'm sure this was not hers, but she was just like, because I could be that way about like self-tapes sometimes of just wanting to get it so perfect. And she would be like, you just need a little more fuck it in your life and in your attitude. Just whatever, shoot it and now send it off. It's done.
Yeah.
It can be tough.
And that I think that for me started with us even launching this podcast, right? Because we launched it way before we were ready, and it was that kind of fuck it attitude. And then now we're getting to a point where we're like, okay, we've learned all these skills, but we wouldn't have if we hadn't jumped in before we were ready.
Yeah, go before you're ready, which is another very typical phrase in this kind of industry of just like, especially for actors, just go before you're ready. Don't, what did John say earlier? Don't think about it, feel it. Don't think it, feel it. Go before you're ready, just do it. That did present a lot of problems, however, because I'm still learning how much all the technical things come into play. And I was like, we are releasing on this day. I'm sick of it, Angela. And you had been the adamant one for so long. And then you were like, well, we're not ready. We haven't done this. And I was like, it has been too long. It has been too long. We shot all these episodes. We haven't put them out. We're putting this one out. And we had a cadence we wanted to stick to, right? And so we put the first one out, and then we ran into all of these editing issues, and we didn't get the next one out for like 3 or 4 weeks. But again, we were just like, okay, this is just, you just have to accept and roll with it.
Yeah,
This
you
is
have
how
to
it went.
accept the imperfections, all the warts, all the like missteps, and then to just have that be a part of the process that then makes you stronger as a creative.
Yeah.
And so like Rob's whole point in the class, a big takeaway for a lot of us is like he's directed hundreds of episodes of TV and features, all sorts of things. And for him, it's all about reps. You know, you're not going to, a lot of us have this delusional idea that our first short film is going to make it into Sundance. And that's just not the reality for 99% of directors. Like you just have to get your reps in.
Just got to keep doing it.
Same thing with the podcast. It's like we've only gotten better because we've recorded more episodes, right?
Yeah, and learn so much from each one. We learn from each one, which I find is very much like acting as well. I feel like I learn from every audition. I learn from every booking. It's the same thing. Just keep going.
Absolutely. Another thing I want to talk about is the state of the industry. I personally have friends that have left town, and just how it's getting increasingly harder to keep going, just from the perspective of it used to be a lot cheaper to be an artist than it is now, right? And I think that
Even in LA,
yeah. My rent used to be $500 a month, split between, well, $500 for me, $500 for my partner, so $1,000 a month.
I was going to say, when did you have $500 rent in LA? When was that ever a thing?
I know.
Anybody else? Okay,
No.
thank you. It was actually
I had to
1,000.
clarify.
Yeah, did you see my thing? We've been talking about my reactions to you when we watch these back, and I was just like,
I know. I misspoke. But, you know, I do think that one of the big points I'm trying to make here is the part of the reason why I'm a hyphenate, a multi-hyphenate, is out of necessity.
And reason many of us are. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right. And even picking up the skill set of learning how to produce a podcast, how to host a podcast. Well, that's one more thing in my arsenal, right? That I can, you know, that I can then go and apply for those jobs, right? In between TV writing jobs, in between producing jobs. So I just want to talk a little bit about that and, you know, maybe just the struggles that we've had, right? Not just, it hasn't been all roses. So I want to talk about where we're at post LA fires, post strikes, post COVID. How do you feel?
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how I feel. I'm not really sure how to actually take the pulse of what I think is happening in the industry. Because even when I talk to people, I guess I should just be completely honest. I don't want to be super bleak, but it feels bleak. I'm hearing of, you know, so many agencies going out of business, agents being let go. It's a lot. It feels like Marvel is now leaving Atlanta, I believe. Like if I put that out there, I think this is what I heard recently. Getting a head nod over here from our wonderful next guest. But yeah, so what is that going to do? What has happened? They're going overseas for you know, for it to not be so expensive. So the thing that it leads me to is, I don't know, this podcast is wonderful. It's a lot of work. And I'm trying to prioritize what this does for me. This is a lot for me creatively. This is a wonderful, wonderful outlet for me. So in terms of like other things that I don't have control over, I'm really just trying to embrace the rest, honestly, because it's such a hustle. It's such a grind all the time doing this. And I'm trying to just embrace, there are periods, there are peaks and valleys, right? And I'm trying to embrace that this might be a little bit of, I don't even want to call it a valley though, because like we've talked about, I had one of the best bookings of my entire career this year. So it's just still so up and down.
It's so up and down.
And I do think, was it Michaela Cole? Am I saying her name correctly? I May Destroy You, Chewing Gum, creator of both those incredible shows. I remember when did she win an Emmy? She won something and her speech was incredible. And she was like, sometimes you just have to go into yourself and you have to put all of it away and go into yourself and spend that time with yourself and get away from everything else to actually really find what your next inspiration is and what your next thing is. And I feel a little like I'm in there somewhere.
Yeah, and it's such it's such an uncertain moment right now, right? With AI getting as good as it is, as quickly as it is.
Yeah.
You know, the latest version of Sora was just released, and now they have dialogue and they didn't before, and it's so realistic. Where there was a video of bunnies jumping on a trampoline that went viral, and no one knew that it was AI generated. Wow. And because it doesn't look like it. It looked like it was just like a backyard camera, you know. And there's Tilly, the first AI generated actor, who is now seeking representation. And then there's all of us creatives that are asking ourselves, how do we adapt to this environment? I have a friend that uses AI to help her prepare pitches, TV pitches, because from her perspective, she's not getting paid for the pitch. She only gets paid if she sells the project. So from her perspective, it's like, if this tool can make me be 10 or 15% faster, then I'm going to utilize it, right? And it can, in some ways,
it's tough to argue,
be a time saver, right? You know, I have used it for our social clips. If you take the hour-long interview and feed it into an AI software, it can just quickly find moments that it quote unquote finds compelling, which I don't know how it does that, but it does it really well. And the tool itself is like $800. So I'm not going to pay for it for our podcast because we have no money at this time. But I do take it and I'm like, oh, it found some great moments. Let me replicate those myself. So I think as a creative right now, you have to ask yourself, where do I lie in the spectrum of how I'm going to use this? Am I going to use it
It's a real
not
question
at all?
we do have to ask. You're right.
Am I going to use it sparingly?
It's tough.
Or am I just going to dive head first? I have a friend who dove head first. This was several years ago when people were looking at him being like, whoa, what are you doing here? This is so new and I don't know how I feel about it. And now he's you know, he's an expert, and his skill set is so sought after because there's very few expert directors that are exclusively working with AI right now.
Oof.
So that's it. It's like, you know, where do you
I'm
lie
having
on
a
the
physical
spectrum?
reaction to that. I don't know what to do with it, but just letting you know. Speaking to the
I
moment.
just think that on top of all of the things we're grappling with in terms of how do I make a living, you know, what kind of job am I going to have right now versus like, is it okay to reinvent myself? On top of all of those normal things, now we have another existential question, which is we have this tool. How much are we going to learn to use it? So
That's a big one.
It's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think for me, it boils down to I truly believe it will never fully replace us. Maybe I'm an optimist.
I know, it's so hopeful.
But I do think that in the same way that we value a Picasso painting because Picasso painted it, I want to believe that there will still be that element of we will value human art because a human made it.
I agree. I hope that's what we get.
I want to leave viewers with that,
We'll leave it with that.
with
That's
that
fantastic.
optimism. In my process, something that has really helped me has been journaling on a daily basis, which is partially inspired by you because this is something you do every morning. And at first I was like, I don't know how she has the discipline to make her coffee and journal and do all of this stuff before she even starts her day. But I have to. Well, yeah, it's become very much a part of my process too. I mean, I don't do it every day. I wish I did. But I got this new journal where it's just one page. So it's the barrier to entry is very low. It's just a one page you fill out. You list out your top 3 priorities, 3 things you want to accomplish, 3 things you're grateful for, your mantra for the day, a couple of others minor things, but it all fills up a page. And I think the reason I wanted to mention that is in this day and age where there are so many distractions, where politics is a huge distraction, the state of the industry is a huge distraction, or maybe even more than that, a source of anxiety. You need to continue.
Yeah, politics are not a distraction for me.
It's more of a source of
anxiety. It's a source of anxiety, and I'm
anxiety.
very clued in.
Yeah. Yes. No, I think I lean in that direction too, but I think sometimes I don't want it infiltrating my mental space, and then it does anyway, right?
Sure.
So
I
think in this day and age, it's so important to stay focused and grounded as a creative, and to really always come back to, is what I'm doing furthering my career as opposed to increasing my anxiety or trying to quell my anxiety? A lot of times I think that for me, what I've struggled with is I have too many balls up in the air, and I don't have as much of an ability to like just focus and silence the noise. And so I just wanted to bring that up in saying that you're not alone if you feel like you're overwhelmed or you have too many balls up in the air, but that there are like ways to help that, right? And one of them for me has been journaling and really just like outlining at the beginning of the day, these are the things I'm going to get accomplished. And that takes me to my current favorite quote, which is Steve Jobs saying, he used to ask his executives, how many things have you said no to today? And yeah,
that's
for some reason that really helps. Yeah,
that's a good one
because
for
I
you.
am trying to do so much.
As your friend and your creative collaborator, that's a good one for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and also just the way you frame, it's just interesting. It's so much your process. As we've been talking, this just came up for me that we've been talking so much about our personal creative process and how we're feeling as creatives right now in this moment in the world. And it's so interesting the way you come at things because it's so achievement based. At least that's what I hear.
Yes, it is very much so.
And
that's
I think
the
I
type
used
A
to
Capricorn
be that
in
way. Yeah. And I think I used to be that way because as you said, like you said something just a minute ago about how you're trying to tune out the distractions so that you can figure out what do you need to do today to further your career? And I think I don't think in those terms anymore. I think I've just been doing this too long and there's been too many ups and downs and too many highs and lows. And I think for me, it's more of just like, what am I doing to feel fulfilled as a human, as a creative, as a friend, as a coworker? What am I doing to feel fulfilled? And that's what journaling is for me. So I just think it's interesting how different our processes are and the way we see things and the way, I mean, obviously still I'm trying to further my career, but like, I just don't know if I think about it.
It's a little different,
structurally
right?
That way anymore.
Because like when I journal, I don't necessarily put as like number 1 priority, see this friend. Number 2 priority, like mail this birthday card. Like this is why you compliment me really well. Cause
that's very sweet. Thank you.
I really like that about you. And
those are the things I need. Like during COVID, the thing that I had to do every morning during lockdown was wake up and connect with someone I care about. And I made it a practice to text someone when I woke up of like someone I care about, anybody and sometimes they text right back and be like, oh my God, it was so great to hear from you. I'm doing this. What are you doing? And sometimes I wouldn't hear for days, but like, I just needed to like send something out into the world that was to someone I cared about.
Yeah. I need to be more like that.
I'm not saying you need to be more like that. That's how I'm bringing it up. I'm just like, I just feel like it's just such, I'm learning, I'm just like thinking about my own process and listening to you talk about yours. And I think I used to be more that way. And so I'm curious what the shift is for me. Not that we're trying to talk about that or
I think that's
anybody
healthier.
cares. But I don't know. But it's just like, I think it's because what we were talking about a little bit earlier about how there's so many ups and downs and so many highs and lows that like what actually sustains me when I'm not working in what I want to be working on.
It's your friends and family, those you care about. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been so great, Anna.
This has been fantastic. I love
so vulnerable.
I love this. More vulnerable than I am usually. This has been one of my challenges, the vulnerability in this.
Well, this has been so much fun.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We have had such a great time talking to each other. I've had a fantastic time talking to Angela. She's revealed a lot to me about my own process. So thank you for that. We've enjoyed ourselves very much. Hope you have as well. Please hit like, subscribe wherever you are watching this, listening to this. We love having you with us. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.